Hey there, stars! Tiv here, and today we're covering our first non-Transformer review. Not to say that we're falling far from the tree though, because we're dropping right in on an Iron Man toy. Specifically, we're talking about the Marvel Legends Retro Collection Retro DX Iron Man with Plasma Cannon, which was a San Diego Comic-Con 2022 exclusive, apparently. I didn't think it was an exclusive when I bought it, but apparently it is. The more you know. But grabbing this Iron Man, it was important because if you're anything like me, and chances are you are if you're watching this, your first introduction to Iron Man as a superhero may just have been one of the Marvel vs. Capcom fighting games. And in addition to representing the modular armor Tony had at the time in the comics, this toy really does do a stunning job of representing Tony's appearances in those video games around that era. So let's go ahead and dive into those aesthetics. I'm keeping some of my word stumbles in this edit. You can't stop me, future Tiv. Now this take on Tony has a fantastically bright red and yellow color scheme that immediately stands out. But also he has a certain musculature build, which was very much the style of pretty much any superhero armor during the 90s. I always appreciated the vents even on the old sprites, and I think they help balance the sea of red on the legs. Overall, I think it's a fantastic look. To talk a little further on the aesthetics, he comes with two alternate heads. One to give him more of the look of the modular armor's appearance in the comics, and one helmetless look, complete with the fucking mullet he had in the comics at the time. Because everyone had a mullet in comic books back then. But when it comes to more substantial accessories, he's got a pair of fists, alternate grabby hands, and a pair of open hands, with a spot for repulsor beam effects, which would be great if the set came with any repulsor effects. The closest it had was a beam for a later accessory. He's also got a repulsor orb effect part to replicate this pose used throughout Capcom's Marvel Superheroes games, and a unibeam effect part. Now we're gonna save the final accessory for last, so let's go over the articulation now. He's got a pretty nice thigh swivel, decent knee and foreleg movement, ankle movement, a 360 at the waist, and a really nice ab crunch. He's got some pretty crazy arm and wrist rotation. And of course, the head is on a pretty decent ball joint. That said, he is overall a little stiff, and you're probably not going to be pulling off MCU poses with this Tony. Inherently kind of a flaw of 90s superhero design in my honest opinion, but you can still get him into a happy amount of poses. Now before we get into the final bit, here's some size comparisons for this Tony. Here he is with some other Marvel Legends figures, a Kingdom Transformer, a Lightning Collection Power Ranger, an SH Monster Arts, me, a Jazzware Spartan Collection figure, a Fortnite 6-inch figure, my next review, and a hamburger. And now, for the final accessory, we have the Proton Cannon! Or Plasma Cannon, as the Toys box proclaims. And I have to say, it's a perfect recreation of the ridiculous finishing move Tony has in that game series. Even if the beam effect for it is a little lackluster. Nothing some Transformers bits can't fix, right? And in all honesty, it is something that's super simple. It's not much to really write home about. But I would have paid the $40 that this set costed alone for just this prop. It looks great with anyone using it. And it takes me back to a time on the early internet with old sprite animations and sprite comics, where anyone and their cousin would pull this thing out if it was funny. So overall, while I wish it had some bigger, more solid effect parts with maybe a stand for the effects too, for what it is, I absolutely adore this. In fact, I kind of love this set in general. It's a really solid figure, so if you get one Iron Man armor like I have so far, make it this one, if you can find it for a decent price on eBay anyway. It's an all-around solid piece, but maybe see if you can also get some repulsor effects sold separately on an eBay listing or something. But But those are just my thoughts on this guy. With the fact you've got a whole Marvel vs. Capcom themed Marvel Legends wave coming out and everything, are you looking to get this sort of guy? Are you hoping you can find him at a decent price on eBay? If so, let's talk about it a little in the comments down below. I've been Tiv, you're still all stars, and I'm signing out.